Who condemned Jesus? Well, it was the Romans. Honestly, this shouldn't even be a discussion anymore because it's very clear that the Romans were the ones who crucified Jesus. How do we know that? Well, Romans were the ones who were crucifying people. We have absolutely zero records of Jewish people crucifying other individuals. So that should be a big flag here telling us who actually condemned Jesus. We can also look at what was supposedly on the cross, a sign that said King of the Jews. Now, this wouldn't be something that the Jewish people would have condemned Jesus for, it's something that the Romans would have condemned him for. For the Romans, there was only one king, and that wasn't Jesus. So for Jesus to say that he was king or for that to be claimed of him, that would be treason. And what happens to people who committed treason during the Roman Empire? Well, crucifixion. So, what about the Sanhedrin, though? Didn't the Sanhedrin hand over Jesus? Well, it really doesn't matter because Rome wasn't going to play their games. So, even if the Sanhedrin convicted Jesus on something, it didn't matter. We can actually look at Josephus with Jesus ben Ananias, and what we are told here is that we have this individuals a few years before the fall of the temple who was claiming that the temple and Jerusalem were going to just be destroyed. This annoyed a lot of different Jewish leaders. He was handed over to the Romans, and then the Romans decided what would happen. Now, in this case, with Jesus ben Ananias, he was just kind of beaten and thrown back into the public because he wasn't really a threat to Rome. And if he's not a threat to Rome, Rome's not going to do anything. So, what history tells us is that even if the Sanhedrin had a problem with Jesus and they turned him over to Rome, Rome still had the final say, and it's Rome who decided to condemn Jesus and crucify him. If they didn't find him guilty of anything, they would have simply thrown him out. So, when it comes down to it, the fact that Jesus is crucified should tell us everything that we need to know. He was condemned by Rome.